All right, we have play number 8 here, series number 2, guys. There's 2:40 in the second quarter. Ball on his opponent's 18-yard line with a second and 12 after taking that little 2-yard loss. So as you can see right now, Bad Shot is running a screen pass out of this. So basically, honestly, most of these routes don't really matter. You're throwing the screen pretty much all the time. You know, that's just how it goes. The only time I ever look at this is if I see these guys bumped up tight. I might take a quick look to see if I get something open and deep. You know, if he beats the bump and then is nice and wide for just a deep throw. So looking at it here, though, his coverage-wise, his opponent looks to be in a cover 2 right off the bat at least. So it looks like a 2-man here actually. So you see these guys up tight. They're not quite bumping, they're not pressing, but they're up tight. So right now it looks like a cover 2. And of course we'll have to wait and see what happens when he actually snaps the ball to see what they do. But that's your pre-snap read in this case. Screen wise, obviously you want to drop back. This is the time you do want to drop back, guys, and you want to really invite these rushers to come and to attack you. And at the very last second, that's when you want to dump it off to the back. Alright, so let's go ahead and run through this, see what happens. Wow, so as you can see right there, it's dead in the water, and it's no fault of his whatsoever. The one thing I will say, you see it says bullet pass there. You normally don't want to bullet pass a screen. You want it to have just a little height under it, a little air under it, so you can get over D lineman whenever they're rushing you. Of course, in this case, there is no D lineman in his face because the D lineman is actually covering the back. Really, nothing he could do here outside of throwing it to somebody else. And these guys were running routes where he would not have the time because this guy's coming free, obviously, with the screen. Obviously, with the screen pass, for those of you who've never run this before, basically your linemen here, usually your 3 interior guys, are going to block for, say, 1 or 2 Mississippi, and then they're going to come out here. And they're going to try to form a wall. Alright? Your back is going to sneak through and drop right about here. Sometimes it's a wide receiver who'll come across too and run the screen, but typically it's a back. So that's what's happening. So what your quarterback's doing here is dropping off, and this is where he is gaining the depth. He's trying to invite those rushers to come at him so that he can dump it over the top of them right to that back with those waiting linemen up front who can basically grade the road downfield for a touchdown. In this case here, his nose tackle, which is kind of crazy that it's a nose tackle doing it, but awesome. And as you can see, he's got the star on him. So actually, I'm not sure if he's playing a friend here or if he's playing the computer, because usually you see how it's, you get the stars for each player. I haven't noticed any little player ring over any of these guys. So I'm thinking maybe he's actually playing a computer here. Either way, you see this guy here, who's his best player on the Detroit team. He starts his rush, but he reads screen right away, so he goes with the back. Nothing his lineman could have done because he actually, came upfield a little bit first, and then once he read it, he got back to make the tackle on the screen. And that, honestly, that is picture perfect defense. Defensive ends, in this case, even defensive tackles are taught. Basically, we teach them. If you realize you get no blocking from your lineman, if they just hold you for a second and then all of a sudden you get off that easily, it's a trap. Okay? It's either an actual trap or, in this case, a screen. But usually if they actually try to block you for a second and let you go, that's always screen, guys. As far as a trap goes, if your guy doesn't block you at all and comes inside hard, or if he pulls out and you get no kind of pressure from a down block, then that tells you it's trap. These are things that these defensive linemen are taught from birth, from football birth, which is the first day they ever become a defensive lineman. These are things you're taught. You're taught to read pressure. And in this case here, the pressure is, it's pressure, pass blocking for 1 second, and then he's letting you go. So, okay, I know screen, boom, I go with it right now. And that's exactly what he does. So as far as Bad Shot's concerned here, it's a good call, I think, but it's just one guy, and it happens to be the superstar guy there, who plays it perfectly. He plays his position exactly how it should be played, 100% there, and he makes the play. There's nothing else he could have done on this play as far as Bad Shot goes. Obviously, grade wise, I still have to give the grade. Play success is a 0. Doing his job, he still did his job. He got the ball to the back. Actually, let's see, maybe he did get play success. He just needs 3 yards. Yeah, so he still lost a yard there, unfortunately. It looked like he fell forward, but he must not have fallen forward enough to even get to the line of scrimmage. So really, you know, he did his job. So this is a 1-point play. At least he doesn't lose both points. He did his job right. He dropped back, he invited, and then he threw the screen. It's just that, like I said, that one guy did his job perfectly. That's exactly how you should read a screen right there.